Test. Čekaj. Snimi ono, znaš. Test 2, 5. Trebalo bi da ti prolazim. Ok. Sad, jesi snimi.
I can hear you.
Je, rekao čovjek I can hear you. Ok. Thank you.
dolazi, pa da...
Da, ovdje je pitanje za organizaciju.
Kad do...
Da ne kažem, nisu bili sve, neki bili sve, pitat ćemo, poslaćemo sad. Mariju, daću ja znak.
A da.
Vladović. Daću ja znak. Čekaj. Šta? Lakše je da ostanem.
Daj pozovi nekog telefona.
Sad ću izvodim da ih kepekujem sve.
Šta da?
Sad ću kepek, rekao da primenim se.
Aha, evo ga.
Koliko nisi govorio engleski, čovječe, nemoj mi...
Pa ja mislim da možemo da počnemo.
Da, ja mislim da sad...
Hello to everyone. Everything is fine. Hello to everyone, dear guests, dear friends, dear colleagues. I greet you cordially, everyone in the hall and everyone who follow us online. Welcome to the traditional celebration of the International Right to Know. Before we start, just few technical remarks. You can also follow this event via YouTube of the Commissioner and live here. If you would like to tweet from this event, please use the hashtag Pravo da znam 2022, Right to Know 2022, and there is also a simultaneous translation provided. This day of this International Right to Know Day is celebrated in a really challenging circumstances. In the past 2 years, you remember we were meeting only online. We were hoping that this event will be celebrated in a more pleasant way, without masks, without stress, but unfortunately, it happened that we are having some new circumstances on a global level, the war in our proximity, and those are all challenging times for defense of the rights. Also, if we are looking our local level, this year we have started with the implementation of the new law of the free access to the public laws. Every new implementation brings new challenges, new problems, and new issues to deal with. So a lot of issues we are working on currently and we need to work on in the future, and Commissioner will speak about that more, including our distinguished guests. So to start, I would like to give floor to Mr. Milan Marinović, Commissioner for Information of Public Importance and Personal Data Protection. It is really great to see you in such a number. Distinguished head of EU delegation to Serbia, Mr. Giaufret, Mr. Tobias Flessenkemper with addresses via video link. Mrs. Groen will be here as well, and distinguished Burkaiisham will be here. Distinguished Minister Tomic and dear friends and colleagues. The Commissioner for Information of Public Importance and Personal Data Information, I greet you on my behalf and on behalf of my crew. It is a great pleasure to welcome you here to celebrate another International Right to Know Day for 2022 in Republic of Serbia. Slavoljupka has mentioned something, so I can follow up. This day, and not only this day, we celebrate in unusual circumstances. But I'm slightly bigger optimist than her, and I would like to say that these circumstances are significant and much better than in the past two previous years. One is epidemiological situation on a global level. And the second is that after several years, I can say that hope that I presented last year during this day, that we will have a new law on access and amendments to the law on access to public information, that was achieved. We have new amendments. We have new laws since November last year, and it will be implemented, and that is a really big step towards better exercise of the rights of the public to know, of the right to know everything about the public authorities, to control authorities. But also it is a big step towards prevention of those who tried to abuse that right, and in that way made damage to the state, to the authorities, and to the honest claimants for the information. We have made big steps. The Assembly has adopted the law, and I can really say that this is one of the best laws in Europe in this field. And it already started in certain sphere to provide positive results. Of course, for the regular estimate and true estimate of this law, a certain time has to pass, not less than 1 year. So often when they ask me whether this law has given some positive effects in implementation, I say that it is that the real estimate could be given on the same day in the following year, International Right to Know Day in 2023. I can say that what is the biggest characteristic of the previous year regarding the field of access to information of public importance, the beginning of implementation of the new wider jurisdiction of the commissioner has already started. They often ask me, what is the position of the commissioner now? The area of protection of information is the best in Serbia. The commissioner deals with this issue for several years. For a long time, we were a second step body, but now we are still having that position, but we are not only second step body, but we are second step body on steroids. We do control and monitoring, but we have more jurisdiction than before. Some of the jurisdictions, authorizations, we have gained some of the authorizations that our body should have. So the confidence that we were given, we will justify. For example, what the results that are already visible, even at the time when the law was adopted in November, and that is giving authorization to commissioner to that responsible people in different authorities to punish them for silence. Silence of the management was the least provable action of the authorities regarding the requests from the claimants. They were breaching the reputation of the state in general and specific bodies. From year to year, the percent of claimants regarding the silence of the institutions, 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 were regarding the silence of the institution. The moment we have announced the implementation of this law, this percentage has decreased. Now there's only 36% compared to the 60% before of the claimants regarding the silence of the and denial of the information of the institutions. So the state authorities have to fulfill the request in a stipulated deadline, but denial of the information will not be excused anymore. And we're already issuing misdemeanor proceedings. There are some penalties that have been already collected. So we are also filling the budget, but modestly, as we can say. On the other hand, we were also given authority to issue order for starting the misdemeanor proceedings. That measure didn't work before as necessary. So the claimants of the information with the lawyer submit misdemeanor, start misdemeanor proceedings with their lawyer. Now that authorization was given to the commissioner. I will go to this at the end. What is also significant regarding the amendments to the law, and it's not directly connected to the exercise of the right to know, is possibility that commissioner could, for the first time in its history, to have offices outside of the Belgrade establishment. So practically, I have agreed everything with the mayor of Novi Sad to open the first office outside of Belgrade in Novi Sad, and that will happen in a really short period of time, in the next month or 2 months. Afterward, we will also open another 2 offices in Niš and in Kragujevac. In that way, a commissioner will be closer to citizens as much as possible. On the territory of the entire Republic of Serbia, they won't have to come to the Belgrade to exercise their right to information of public importance. In that way, we would like to protect 2 important rights, right to the information of public importance and personal data protection. And at the end, I would like to say 2 important things, one traditional and one that is less traditional. Traditionally, every year, we publish a publication, what we have done in the previous year to show our results, and not to repeat the practice from previous years. So it's a light blue publication as always. The right color goes for protection of public information, of personal data protection. So everyone interested in this issue could access this information. And traditionally, we confer a reward to those who are distinguished in this, whose work was distinguished in this area. And this year we have 2 categories, and it's important to emphasize those who contributed to visibility of the work of public authorities. And what bothers me the most, and this is the main preoccupation in the past days, and I think the most significant amendment to the law would be visibility regarding visibility of public authorities. And I look forward to public publishing of the work of the information of public authorities on a unique information platform. And public authorities have legal obligation to do that. We will go to that later. But what worries me to this point is that it is estimated that there is a 14 to 15,000 of public authorities bodies, and only 450 registered on our platform and obliged to publish their information. That's a really low percentage, and that shows that public authorities are not introduced to their obligation and the significance it has for the exercise of rights of citizens. They have to understand that this will make this process easy for the citizens who are interested, regular citizens or media, representatives of media who are interested in the work of public authorities, but they will also have benefits from that. The more information they publish, people will ask them to less extent. So the logic is simple. You put additional effort, make an information booklets, publish it by the 16th of November, not because Commissioner will use its authority to start misdemeanor proceedings against the authorities that are obliged to publish. It doesn't matter whether they are ministries, directors of hospitals or schools, but that's a precondition for successful and efficient exercise of the right of, and that is one of the most significant changes of the law, and that's not characteristic not only for Serbia, but for all trends in Europe. It's not point that somebody pleads to you to publish this information, but you should publish it in advance. Once again, thank you all for coming. Thank you that we celebrate together this International Right to Know Day, and I hope every year we will have more positive news. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Commissioner, and I will have to admit that this picture is realistic, much more realistic than mine. I started pessimistically, but I am thinking always in the context that not every freedom or right is lasting, and we need to defend our rights and what we can do to preserve it, to defend it. But for certainly we have many reasons to be optimistic, and there are many things that were proficient, and we can be satisfied with what we have done. We are continuing according to our agenda. And you know that Serbia is determined to walk toward the membership in the European Union, and it is very significant for us to have support of the European Union. I want to thank cordially His Excellency Mr. Emanuele Giaufret, the Ambassador of the European Union in Serbia. You have the floor.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. It's a pleasure to share this panel with you, Commissioner Marinović. I'm glad to be back to this event. Ms. Groen, dear Tobias, that is, I understand, following us from distance, Ms. Isham, Mr. Petrović, and Mr. Čomić. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important for me to be here because we believe in the European Union that when a piece of information is classified as having public interest, it means that the public owns it and has a right to know and have access to it. People need to be properly informed to make informed decisions, know their rights, their obligation in life and work, and act upon them. And this is why it's important that all stakeholders, institutions, authorities, and civil society uphold these human rights. It's my second time to be here for celebrating the Right to Know Day in Serbia. And I'm glad, as the Commissioner has already informed us, that we're here also to celebrate important changes since last year. And I want to congratulate Serbia for having made progress in upholding the right to know, and I want to congratulate all those that have worked in order to make this happening. The law on access to information of public importance has been amended, as the Commissioner just explained, and it's been amended largely in accordance with the recommendation of Sigma, which is a group of experts that provide expertise on best practices and European standards. So the result is certainly a good result. It provides a better legal framework for upholding the right, and the Commissioner Office is now better legally equipped to ensure the provisions of information to all who request it. As the Commissioner put it, they are now on steroids. So this is now your task to contributing to the implementation of the law. As we know, a law is as strong as the degree of its implementation. So as the European Union, we want to send a strong encouragement to everyone, to the authorities, to continue on the path they have taken, to implement correctly and effectively the law in a way that will make a real change. Access to information is essential for transparent government. Without it, there can be no trust in institutions. This trust becomes even more important in periods of uncertainty as the one in which we are living now. Citizens, business, investors, they all need to be sure that the government and its bodies are performing their roles in accordance with the laws and best standards, and with the aim of the public benefit. So certainly we're celebrating this important milestone in reforming the law. Congratulations again, everyone. These are really important changes. But we need to continue working. Let me say a few words about what still at the horizon and what the European Union does in order to support Serbia in achieving these objectives. I want to mention the evaluation by GRECO, the Council of Europe body in charge of fight against corruption. They had the 5th round evaluation with Serbia, which shows that some additional improvements are still needed, in particular concerning requests for data related to persons with high-level functions. So certainly this is, will be an area of work in the coming months and years. We've also been following very closely all developments, not only in legislation, but also on the way the issues is developed in practice. We've monitored the implementation of the legislation and the related access to information. And we have noticed with concern a declining trend in the past few years of the percentage of commissioners' recommendation about access to information to which the public bodies have reacted. And you are giving us some more positive figures, but certainly we have to do better. And with your new legal tools, hopefully we will see an improvement. But also we want to give our contribution, and we want to try to continue helping. We're planning at the moment a budget support action for the public administration in Serbia, meaning that we would transfer a number of funds directly to the budget of the public administration at the beginning of the new year of 2023. And next to these funds that will be disbursed, there will be indicators that will trigger the disbursement of the funds. And we will plan to monitor these indicators. And one of those is that public bodies proactively work towards ensuring the right of the public to information, taking seriously any recommendation or decision by the Commissioner and act upon it. Silence of the administration is not an option. So we try to provide some additional steroids to your work, Commissioner. Implementation of the law, is, as I said, is crucial, so we look forward to follow its implementation and enhance transparency of Serbian administration that can result and should result in less cases of administrative silence, faster and more complete provisions of data by national authorities in accordance with the law to journalists, researchers and citizens, as you mentioned, Commissioner. And also a more proactive publication of data by public institutions, because I think we should be in the perfect world where information is fully accessible and the requests are actually diminishing because transparency is already there. As the moderator was mentioning before, Serbia has made an important choice to become a member of the European Union. And this is an enormous effort that is being undertaken by the administration of Serbia, by the Serbian society, by the EU. And resources have been put in place to support our joint ambition for Serbia to become a member of the EU family. And we will continue to support Serbia in this process, including in the fields we're discussing today of transparency. And I want to give you a few examples. I already mentioned the budget support for public administration, but also we have a flexible facility for the rule of law, meaning expertise that is provided through experts coming from member states, specifically Germany, Austria, and Lithuania, that will be providing support to your office, Commissioner, directly. And on the policy side, we're preparing actually today with experts contracted by the Commission for a peer review mission on the access of information topic, among others, that will generate further recommendations for more work ahead of us. And let me conclude by saying that while policies, legislation, standards are certainly key, important to provide the proper framework for implementation, individual stories and practices are also essential to create the right environment and to lead by example. So I would like to congratulate all institutions that we received today the recognition for their work by the Commissioner and encourage other institutions and public authorities to follow their examples. I won't be able to stay here for the presentation of rewards and apologize for that. I'd like to really congratulate all the winners for their work and encourage many others to follow in their footsteps. Thank you very much.
And thank you.
Pleasure.
Hvala, Vaša Ekscelencija.
Thank you, High Excellency. Your words are really significant, and we can stress enough the importance of the implementation of the law. It doesn't matter how good the law is, the implementation is the most important. And I think we all have to work on this together. All Commissioner and all authorities and citizens as well, who have to exercise their rights. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, High Excellency. And we are moving forward. The right to access to information of public information. It wouldn't look like it looks today without huge support, especially in the very beginning in 2004, without huge support of mission of OSCE. And that cooperation and support lasts for years. So I have a great pleasure, and I would like to thank to the mission of OSCE. Unfortunately, the ambassador couldn't be here with us, but here we have Deputy Head of OSCE mission in Serbia, Ms. Sara Gruen. So I am happy to pass you the floor.
Really a pleasure to be here today. Dear Commissioner Marinović and esteemed colleagues in person and online, and distinguished guests, I'm very pleased to be able to join in welcoming you to this important event. For the 17th consecutive year, the OSCE mission and the Commissioner are jointly marking the International Right to Know Day. This continuity, I think, is a big achievement and really sends a strong message that we all remain genuinely committed to the citizens' rights to obtain information, data, and documents from state institutions, information that does belong to them. In 1990, all OSCE participating states agreed to the Copenhagen document, which stated the following: everyone will have the right to freedom of expression. This includes the freedom to hold opinions and receive and impart information and ideas without interference by public authority, regardless of frontiers. In 2018, the OSCE decision on safety of journalists reiterated these commitments. On this day, we all have a unique opportunity to reflect on both the positive developments in exercising the fundamental right of free access to information, as well as the challenges that still remain. Today, we'd like to remind citizens of the powerful tools at their disposal to hold their governments accountable and monitor their effectiveness, tools that are stronger now in Serbia because of the amended law. It's our right and obligation, all of us as citizens, to remind our governments of their duty of transparency and accountability towards citizens. Throughout its existence, the Commissariat for Information of Public Importance and Personal Data Protection has affirmed its role as an institution that the citizens respect and trust. We can see this in part through the sharp increase in the number of citizens' complaints to the Commissioner. This is a good thing. In 2021, this number increased by almost 37% compared to 2020. People don't make complaints if they think there's no chance their complaints will be heard. And when you have a new mechanism or an improved mechanism, it's a good sign when people make use of that. To continue successfully performing its mandate, the Commissioner's Office needs further support from everyone: the government, other state institutions, and citizens. The OSCE mission has proudly supported the Commissioner's Office in organizing a public campaign to raise citizens' awareness on personal data and help educate them about their rights. We produced 5 short videos which explain the public authorities' and private companies' responsibilities in collecting and storing data, and the Commissioner's role in addressing citizens' complaints of potential data breaches. And you may have seen these videos on the public broadcaster and some other TV stations. Since last year's Right to Know Day, we have seen some very positive developments regarding support to the Commissioner and his important work. As others have noted, in November 2021, the National Assembly adopted amendments to the Law on Free Access to Information, bringing legal solutions to some of the key challenges in this area. The implementation started in February of this year. For the 3rd year in a row, last December, the National Assembly discussed the Commissioner's annual report from the previous year and reached some conclusions, such as the need to continuously improve the legal framework, also mentioned by the Commissioner, and to vest him with increasing responsibilities. And of course, these conclusions do need to continue to be implemented. The Commissioner's most recent 2021 report indicated there's been a 10% increase compared to 2020 in the number of public bodies that published information booklets and submitted their annual reports to the Commissioner in compliance with the law. And this is encouraging, especially when it comes to local authorities where the level of increase was more than 20%. However, many challenges still remain. The first and most important one is the need to end impunity for violations of the right to free access to information. Last year, the Commissioner found that the law was violated in 3,334 cases. But in very few cases did the administrative inspection submit a request to the misdemeanor courts for the initiation of misdemeanor proceedings, although I understand now this process is changing. Also in 2021, the Commissioner submitted 82 requests to the government to ensure implementation of his decision, but we understand the government did not respond in these cases. We've also seen that institutions have not executed a substantially higher number of the Commissioner's decisions related to complaints submitted by journalists. And this is particularly important because this information helps journalists help citizens understand policies and other issues of concern to them. And since our common aim is to increase transparency and provide citizens with information of public importance, we encourage the government to address the Commissioner's decisions using all means at its disposal. Ladies and gentlemen, the public's access to information is a fundamental freedom and a human right to which all OSCE participating states, including Serbia, have committed. Meaningful participation in democratic processes requires interaction between well-informed citizens and open and transparent state authorities. The exercise of this right can lead to positive systemic changes, and it can build more trust and understanding between citizens and the state. The OSCE mission will continue to be a committed partner to the Commissioner in these issues. I want to congratulate you all on the Right to Know Day, also to congratulate the recipients of the awards that will come later, and I wish you all every success in your future work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gruen. It is always important to remind ourselves that this is one of the fundamental rights and an important tool in increasing transparency, which leads to the rule of law and democratic system. We will continue further. As you know, the Republic of Serbia is a member of the Council of Europe, and it's really important. That institution is a really great support to us. So Mr. Tobias Flessenkemper, the head of the Council of Europe office in Belgrade, is here with us online, and he will address us online because he's not in Belgrade. So we are really thankful to you for having some time to address us here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Petkovic. Commissioner Marinović, dear Minister Tomic, dear Emanuele, dear Sarah, and dear Ms. Isham from the Usaid, dear participants, dear representatives of the media. It's a real pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Right to Know Day today, on behalf of the Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Ms. Marija Pejčinović-Burić. The reason why I'm not with you today in Belgrade is actually that the pandemic allowed us for the first time to come back together in a regional conference for the so-called horizontal facility for the Western Balkans and Turkey. And we are meeting here in Montenegro to discuss the programs and achievements of the last period and will actually set the ground for the work to come. In this respect, the work of the Commissioner has been extremely important in helping citizens of Serbia to realize their fundamental rights and freedoms with regard to access to information, but also data protection. And I want to assure you that, of course, in the next program phase of the horizontal facility, jointly developed with the European Union and the Council of Europe, the work on protection of data and right to access to information will be high on the agenda, as also mentioned by Emanuele a couple of minutes ago. I also would like to join those who mark the legal achievements that have been accomplished. And I think it's thanks to the Commissioner personally and his dedicated team who have been really pushing through and keeping everyone on track to making the necessary changes to the legislative framework. But I also find it remarkable that in a rather centralized country, the Commissioner is doing everything he can to actually bring the work he does to the citizens in various regions across Serbia. So my big congratulations and my respect to this achievement. Of course, we all know that this will have to be followed up with results. And I think the monitoring bodies of the Council of Europe give some indications where there is space for improvement. Greco was already mentioned when it comes to the top executive function and the access to information on what top executive functions are doing. But there's also work to be done in the work of the transparency of the parliament and many other fields, including on the protection of environment, where certainly media and others have an interest to know what is going on and need the access to information. In general, citizens need access to need to be able to exercise their right to access to information in a holistic way. And I think the recent ban of the demonstration of the Europride and the reasoning of the administrative court give us some space for reflection on how much bans of freedom of assembly can be based on documents which are not accessible to the public. Maybe it's also an important reminder that Serbia has signed the Council of Europe Convention on Access to Official Documents, the so-called Tromsø Convention in 2009, but ratification is still outstanding. And we would really encourage to complete the group of countries in Southeastern Europe that have signed and ratified the convention as soon as possible once the Parliament can put it on the agenda in the coming months. Maybe one word still to why are we actually discussing this. Back in the 60s, 70s, when the Council of Europe started to get involved in this area, it was really the fear of excessive control by governments over the political activities of citizens in Western Europe, but also the concerns about access to information on mega technological projects and the impact on the environment that prompted the development of a right and access to information. The Aarhus Convention needs to be mentioned in this context, which enshrined this first time in international law some 30 years ago. And of course, the access to information is very closely linked as well to data protection, because all too often also data protection can be a reason for denying access to information, while at the same time, data protection is extremely important to help people realize their right to privacy. And that's why the Council of Europe has also established the instrument of the Convention 108, which was recently updated to respond to the changes of the technological development in the last years. And I would like to congratulate Serbia for having already ratified the revised Convention 108, and it has come into force in Serbia. So to deal with the challenges of the modern data-driven and digital world, and the Convention 108 plus, as we call it, as well as the Tromsø Convention, can provide for greater transparency and accountability for public authorities, both in the protection of privacy, but also providing the access to information. And it's clear that data and the access to information is becoming a very important issue in the global political debate in view of the recent aggression against the Ukraine and the ongoing war in Europe, in which, of course, data and access to information is a very important issue. So based on these shared values and the framework that has been set out by the Council of Europe based on human rights with regard to access to information and data protection, I would like to offer our continued support within the framework of the operations and activities which I just mentioned at the beginning, and wish also to congratulate all the activists and people who are getting a reward today for their efforts in maintaining a keen interest of the public, but also of the institutions, to help everyone in Serbia to realize their fundamental rights and freedoms. Thank you very much. And I also would like to wish you a very successful event today.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Flessenkemper. Thank you to Mr. Flessenkemper. Thank for the remindment that sometimes we forget that the right to information of public importance and personal data protection are sometimes conflict rights, but often complementary rights. And one cannot exist without another. And that's a special issue for a digital age. And we have to have it in mind. We continue further. A strong partner and somebody who's providing support in the past several years when it comes to the field of public information of public importance is the mission of the Usaid in Serbia, and we really would like to thank them for their support. Here with us is Ms. Burkaiisham, the mission director of Usaid in Serbia, so I'm happy to pass you the floor.
Good morning to everyone, and a special good morning to Commissioner Marinović, Minister Čomić, and all our colleagues and partners gathered here today. Thank you sincerely for inviting USAID to participate in this very important Right to Know Day. Last year, USAID here in Serbia was honored, very honored indeed, to be recognized at this annual gathering with an award for our support to building the transparency and accountability of local governments. We had worked with 25 local governments to help them better connect with citizens, both online and in person. Those partnerships helped Serbia to improve its national local transparency index score for the first time since 2015. We at USAID were very proud of that work and the difference it made here in Serbia. Now, rather than repeat the wise words of our previous speakers, let me just say that USAID shares the Commission's conviction that transparency is a core democratic value, and that citizens have the right and the duty to know what their elected representatives are doing on their behalf. After all, it's citizens' tax dollars that fund government operations and salaries. And as a US government employee myself, I know that I have to be accountable to all American taxpayers. In fact, in the United States, the citizens' right to know about what the government is doing for them is enshrined in our laws. The Freedom of Information Act is perhaps the US's most celebrated transparency law. Since 1967, that law has provided the public the right to request records from any federal US government agency. And over the years, this act in America has been amended several times to meet the increasing demands of citizens who want to know much more about what their government is doing with their tax money. So when I arrived here in Serbia 1 month ago, I was very, very pleased to hear that after intense lobbying and efforts by the Commission and others, Serbia has passed amendments to strengthen its free access to information law. I wish to congratulate everyone in this room who played a part in making that happen, because passing those amendments was truly a great achievement. And I am sure that the Commission will pursue ensuring the continued implementation of the amendments with the same passion that the Commission brought to getting them enacted. Finally, I would like everyone here to know, especially the Commission, that you will continue to have a friend in USAID here in Serbia. We will continue to work with local Serbian organizations to promote open, transparent, and participatory governance throughout Serbia. A little bit more specifically, right now we're focusing on helping Serbia to increase the transparency and fairness of public procurements on both the national and local levels. Now let me stop here so that we can get on to the exciting business of finding out who this year's winners are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Isham. Soon we will learn who are the winners of the award this year. Thank you for emphasizing your personal example. It's important that all of us employed in public authorities have to remember that we are paid by the money of the taxpayers and that they have a right to know what we do with their money. So now we are moving forward to the award ceremony and conferring awards to those who worked the most in the previous year in this field and contributed to achieve our goals and to increase transparency. Mr. Marinović, Commissioner, will now take over this ceremony and will inform you about the awards, why are they given to these particular individuals and people. This is the most important part, not because of the awards, but because through these awards we emphasize the efficiency of the needs and necessity of the needs to respect human rights, especially a right to know. And in this way, the institutions and public bodies and individuals in these bodies who are working on this issue are set as an example, a light example, And they're showing the way that should be followed by others in order to have as much as possible contenders in the following years for this prize. We like to give this award. We don't like to impose punishments. We don't like to impose criticisms, but that's a necessary part of our work. So these are the light parts of our work, and I'm happy to say that this year we had opportunity, and we had people whom we could give this award. The methodology was standard as every year. There is a commission with representatives of the most relevant associations, academic community, and non-governmental sector, with the commissioner as the head of this body, of this commission. So we have made this decision. These are the votes of our jury. So, for the best information booklet that has a certain, it is characteristic that this award is given to those who apply for this award. So I'm convinced that among those who did not apply, there are a lot of good information booklets, but we had 7 candidates who applied. Some of them already received this award. So because there are very few of them, I will read them all. The City Management of Šabac, Higher Court in Kragujevac, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Youth and Sport, City Management of Kragujevac, and Cassation Court in Kragujevac. So the Commission has made the decision that the winner of the award, so I will go backwards. The very serious candidate was the city of Šabac. City of Šabac was in our closest round, but our estimate was that the winner of this award is Ministry of Culture and Informing, because their information booklet was received in August. It is also published on the website on Ministry. There are 270 pages. It was also being updated afterwards. It has all the links necessary. There is also version in Latin letters. All information regarding the budget are updated. The information on salaries were also published. There is also information on public procurements. There is a plan for public procurements for 2021. There is a table with a plan of realization of public procurement. There are all necessary forms. So it is completely done according to the guidelines of the commissioner. So whether Slavoljupka or me will call on the representative. So I would like to call on the representative of Ministry of Culture and Information, the head of the cabinet, Mr. Marinić, to receive the prize on the behalf of the ministry. Congratulations. I hope we will justify this award. Just shortly to thank to Commissioner, this was not only our obligation and duty, as our colleague has mentioned, we all have to understand that we are in service of citizens and what is the proper relationship to the citizens. Thank you very much.
Povjerenik.
the commissioner sometimes awards, and some years he doesn't give the award for the highest bodies of public administration. The problematic bodies of the public administration. The problematic is that you cannot file a complaint against their operations. But we have some reports. In previous years, the most often recipient of this award was the High Court of Castration Court of Belgrade. Of Serbia, but he received this award in many years in a row, and other bodies of the highest government administration didn't give us good impressions to achieve this award, and I hope in the years to come that we'll be able to award some governmental body in this category as well. So this year we are without an award. For contribution to the right of public to know in the category of the Serbian governmental bodies. Just a second to see who is the winner. Okay. The candidates were, the most serious candidates were the governmental Commission for Transparency for Public Procurements and the Public Secretariat for Legislation. Our estimate was that the best candidate is the Ministry for Human and Minority Rights and Social Dialogue, and I'm glad to have distinguished Minister Čomić with us to accept this award. The ministry has a great booklet on operations of the ministry that consists of 115 pages. They have banners on their website. On their web page, you can find useful information about their activities, can approach information of their activities. The website is bilingual and is accessible, and against their ministry there was only one complaint that was filed, and it was cancelled because it was unsubstantial. Having in mind the stated, and that booklet, informational booklet, has a high quality, and the legal obligation of submitting the annual report, this ministry has received this award. Congratulations. Please. Mrs. Čomić, please, you receive this prestigious award. Congratulations. This award in my hands is the recognition that is only held by my hands. This is the recognition for all employees of ministry, the hardworking, devoted individuals, that we develop the culture of human rights and to build the rule of law and to live the law of the right of public to know daily. But because these are my hands, I can tell you that I had a great satisfaction when, as a member of parliament in 2004, jointly with the parliamentary groups of Democratic Party, G17 plus, and Socialistic Party of Serbia, engaged in drafting of the very first law on information of public importance. Do you know why? Because I defended my attitude that we need this law. Some here that are present remember what are the office polls. Hey, please give me one. You have to lean, and these kinds of old communist style booths were everywhere, and would stay like that. That if we didn't drafted the law, that needed to change these kinds of approach and to make accessible to the public. When you start to do like this, these boots were gone. And this moment, 2004, is in my personal interpretation of this crucial law is a thing that I want to share today with you. I thank the Commissioner and all of you that are helping the operations of this institution, and all of you that jointly, together with the Commissioner and with us, will continue working on the area of free access to information and respect of rule of law and human rights in a manner that is experienceable by the public. The media, civil society, citizens have the right, within the right of freedom of speech, to lie, to interpret, but no one who is elected and governmental official did not such right. He has an obligation to share accurate, clear, and very transparent information for the area of his employment that he's paid from the budget by the citizens of Serbia. And I'm glad to have one office in our ministry. Thank you very much. In the category of judiciary, there were several candidates. The most serious candidates were accepted the award, and one that didn't accept the appellation court in Becce. Misdemeanor court in Becce. And we decided that the winner of the area of judiciary will be the High Court of Novi Sad. Why? The internet webpage of the court is very useful and can find useful information on its operation and contacts. The informational booklet is on the main page. There are many pages. The content is very easy accessible, and in the reporting period, only one complaint was filed, and the annual report was submitted. I invite Mr. Miroslav Alipić, the President of the High Court of Novi Sad, to get this award, to receive this prestigious award.
Thank you once again on this prestigious award. A team of people that was dedicated, and we have consulted this institution of commissioner whenever we had some challenges in interpreting the law. We really know that we have to make public familiar with all aspects of our work, but we also have to protect data that are, according to the law, classified as confidential. So this will be a huge insight for this amazing team of people to continue to work further, so we can follow Commissioner in his endeavors and numerous activities. Thank you once again. Before, when I was young, they used to know Monty Python used to say, and now something completely different. Sometimes during the years, some categories, for some categories, awards are given or not. For the first time in history, the Commission has agreed that in this category we have completely equal candidates, so they deserve to get a co-award. So these are local self-management bodies, and I would like to say one small municipality was a serious candidate, municipality of Crna Trava, but in respect to this right, 2 towns city of Subotica and city of Kruševac were really strong candidates, and they shared they shared this award. They both got the golden medal, and now I would like to tell you why. The city of Subotica and their booklet is on the main page of their website, is completely developed in accordance with the Commissioner's recommendation. They have a booklet for all city bodies. It has a lot of clear content, and it shows contribution to the affirming of the law to access to information. All bodies have submitted the reports. There are no complaints against these institutions. So I would like to call on the representative of the city of Subotica, the superintendent of city management, Miss, I skipped the name, to receive this award. Thank you very much. Congratulations. I would like to greet all of you here. It's an extreme honor to receive this award on behalf of City of Subotica. This is a huge award, and we were pleasantly surprised, but we also feel a huge responsibility to justify this award, and we will make our best efforts as a local self-government to be the closest as possible to our citizens, because citizens perceive local self-government as an embodiment of public authorities, as a first instance to approach for some problem or challenge when they need to exercise some of their rights or duties. So we will really work on justifying this award. As I have said, the equal winner for this award is City of Kruševac, because their booklet is on their presentation on a drop-down menu. It's developed in accordance with the guidelines of Commissioner. There are data on salaries. Content is made on 230 pages. Internet web page is full of content. They have fulfilled their legal obligation to submit reports. They don't have claimants against them. And there are 2 complaints on their work. One of them was not based on proper information. So I would like to ask Mr. Jovanović to receive the award on behalf of City of Kruševac. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Respected and distinguished guests, I'm happy to greet you on behalf of City of Kruševac. I'm really happy to have this award in my hands. From the beginning of implementation of the law, we try to respond to any request in the shortest possible period in order to enable exercise of the rights of citizens. This will be incitement for our future work, and we will try to improve the work in this area, and we hope that the next year, and I hope that we will be the example of good practice to other cities. So maybe next year there will be 3 or 4 winners in this category.
And we are now new in this area, and this is for the first time we have a law on, and for the first time the first prize is shared. And for this year we don't have a representative of the entity that received the award, but they are missing. So the recognition for affirmation of right to know of the public in the local municipalities. In Pokrin, in Vojvodina, there were Secretary for Finance, and who received the The award was the commission for the public storages of Vojvodina, and they received this award because they have archivated the information. They have a site that is useful with the special folder for information, and the legal obligation for the reporting has been fulfilled. No complaints have been filed, and this time we will not deliver them personally because they apologize they couldn't participate, and I congratulate the winners. And finally, I want to say that sometimes we award a special prize, and this time we estimated that we don't have candidates for the award of special achievements in the right of public to know, and so this award we will wait for in the next year. And sometimes when you watch Oscars, they never said there is no winner in this category, but with us this happens. Thank you very much. We are continuing traditionally. And I can say our serious tradition is that the commissioner every year, annually, and for the Right to Know Day and on the right of protection of personal data, is publishing its publications that is consisting the opinions, attitudes of the different governmental and non-governmental bodies in this context, and this is our firm belief that progressive publishing of information is very important for citizens. Why we are dealing with certain situations in a way we are dealing with those. This is contributing to the legal security, enable citizens to know how to exercise their rights, and to receive feedback from the colleagues from different governmental bodies. And this is certainly something that is significantly helpful to the public administration bodies in order to implement this law. And this is publications that we want to present to you. Me as an editor of this publication, I will start with expression of gratefulness to people who helped the publishing of this publication that consists of the attitudes and opinions that is written by all sectors, and where they state their attitudes. And I want to thank first to the commissioner that we continuing with this tradition and have strong support of him personally. And this publication developed in one unusual moment this year. Was very challenging for us because it is the start of the implementation of the new law, and some things are not settled down. Some questions are have been opened, and scope of our engagements extended, and we had this year one serious attack against us as well. So very serious misuse was attempted, and we received more than 8,700 complaints, and our scope of is extended significantly. And this publication was written in this period where we were very engaged all day long on weekends, and this was very exhausting for us to prepare this publication. And I want to thank to all of my colleagues from all sectors that provided help. And what I will do now is I'm very thankful for all colleagues for the communal spirit and support and help. And I want to emphasize and our colleagues, two colleagues actually, one single man that works with us, 20 women from the sector of complaints that in past 2 years were very much engaged in this publication. weekends, after hours, and we haven't seen our families, but we have been seeing each other. And this team was includes very good people, like high professionals, high-level professionals, and I want to thank you cordially, and my deepest gratitude you have for your support for all of challenges, for communal spirit, and helping us to overcome this challenging moment. Thank you very much.
When it comes to the content of the publication, we have tried to present the cases that were really significant. You know, when you prepare the publication that covers the transfer from implementation of one law to the another, we try to include the cases, even though the decisions were made according to the old law, they would be helpful to the local bodies in implementation of the new law. And of course, we have presented a lot of new cases and new attitudes that regarding the implementation of the new law. So I would like to emphasize two examples, small teasers for you. One is the case of the organization working on protection of human rights that asked the gender protocol on induced abortion from the medical institution. Of course, many women know what is gynecological violence, and they face it, and media have reported about that. So this is the case that's related to that, because there were some problems, and so they asked for this general protocol or induced abortions. So the medical institution refused and denied this information, and they were saying that they cannot provide information because it's private information, but the commissioner made the decision that the institution should provide this information, and that's an important decision. And it reminds us what information we could get through these mechanisms. Another interesting case where the complaint, when the citizen was asking the copy of Miroslavljevo Evangelje, the old evangelical book, and the information could not be provided because of the law and protection of different laws. So these are two interesting cases presented in our booklet, in our so also get familiar with our application. I will not go further because I'm really looking forward to our informal gathering. So I'm giving the floor to Zlatko Petrović, from who's acting assistant of Secretary General. One of the things, according to the new law, is publishing information in a new modern way, in accordance with the time that we live in, within the unique information system of the commissioner. So what does it mean and what it brings to us? Zlatko will inform us. Thank you, Slavoljupka. First, I would like to greet you all. We would like to mention the new unique information system, and why this is new and modern solution. I have to go back. In 2004, and Ms. Chomic mentioned, the first information on public access, or the first law on information, public access to information was brought. And there were certain measures for advancing the transparency and visibility of the work of public authorities. And one of them was publishing the booklet of the work. So any instance of public authorities had to make a booklet that will provide information about their work, budget, activities to the citizens. According to the law, In 2005, there was commissioner brought guidelines how to make and publish this information. So we are speaking about almost 20 years ago. Many public institutions did not have their websites. So the commissioner brought a guideline that those who do have websites do have an obligation to publish this information on their website and in other ways, like brochures, on booklets, and to make them accessible to the citizens. In 2010, there were another guidelines, and new law on public information changed this from the ground regarding the range of the work of the authorities. So the term of the public authorities is more defined. There are 10 categories. The first 7 do have obligation to develop and publish this information. These are the bodies of the republic, of the province, of local self-management, public enterprises, legal entities established by public authorities and individuals. So all of these stakeholders do have obligation to create such booklet. But this booklet is not published on their website, but within the unique information system of information booklets, which is under the jurisdiction of commissioner. Commissioner will lead and maintain this information system. We have established it as a platform that is part of our web page, internet web page. It is necessary to visit our website and to register as a body, public authority, to provide sufficient credentials and authorizations on behalf of the public authorities, to provide information who's responsible for input, and then each body will be provided a specific account. Then there is a extended range of information that public bodies should provide to the the information on personnel, strategies, plans, services provided to citizens, different statistical data, statistics of services. So they could also input different format of files like Word or Excel. So the final product of this information system should be encompassing portal where citizen or whoever could have overview in the booklets of all public bodies. So the number of public bodies is really extended. That also include public enterprises, different city municipalities, city services, each school, each archive. So each of these bodies of public authorities has to establish its account and to create their booklet. Final result, on the 16th of November 2022, each citizen should be should have possibility to have overview of the information booklet on any public body in the Republic of Serbia. Public bodies that don't submit these reports could face the misdemeanor proceedings. So Commissioner is now authorized to start misdemeanor proceedings against the managers of the concrete public authority. So how to approach this information system to all public authorities, because we're speaking about also small municipalities, local schools, sometimes communities without internet. So the commissioner, being aware of this problem, decided to create a video tutorial that lasts for 15 minutes that any of you could look at our webpage on the YouTube channel of Commissioner, where step by step it is explained how to create account and how to create all these documents. The obligation of public authorities is to open an account, to make an information booklet, and to update provided information. Deadlines provided are 30 days. The public authority that doesn't comply with this law could face certain charges. In the last couple of days, having in mind what Mr. Marinović said before, that very few of them registered their accounts and even a smaller number published some information, we have addressed to people, and we are especially grateful to the public authorities that distributed our information. So each school on the territory of Serbia was, this information has reached each school, and they already know that they have this obligation. We have a now increase of the calls from the schools, and they're interested to fulfill this obligation, but this work is not easy. We are also part of the Permanent Conference of Cities, and they cooperate with local self-management bodies, and they also distributed this information to them. So each municipality, even the smallest municipality, has the same obligation as the biggest ministry. So all other ministries are expected to inform their stakeholders in the field about this obligation. Is this realistic that everything will be fulfilled by the November 16th? I'm afraid it's not, but every journey starts with the first step. Our first step was to develop these guidelines, to develop the tutorial, to inform the public institutions about their obligations. I also invite all of you here who are members of the public authorities, and if you haven't fulfilled this obligation till today, please do that in the nearest future. Let's go back to Slavoljupka. Thank you. And now it's time for you, for your questions, for your comments, suggestions. I give the floor to the audience. Commissioner says we are pretty clear, it seems so. But in the last years, in this part, we didn't have so many questions or suggestions. So I would use the opportunity to ask you again. Do you have some comments or suggestions? Of course, I have to add, you don't have to ask us just today. Our office is open every day, so whenever you want, you can address us. We are here for citizens, we are here for you, and whenever we can help you in exercising your rights or fulfilling your duties, we are here to assist you in service of citizens and in service of public authorities as an independent body. And when it's necessary, we can help you, but also we can punish you. So there are no rights without duties, and vice versa. Thank you all. If there are no questions, thank you all, those of you here and those of you following us online. I thank also our translators. So thank you all. I would like to invite you for a small informal cocktail party and socializing here in front of the hall. Thank you all.